Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your breaking news show. We've got some hot topics on the table, so make sure you get your comments in, throw some questions towards myself, smash a like on the video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, because on today's show, I'm going to discuss Alejandro Garnacho's future on his contract agreement gets closer and closer. Eric Ten Hag and Marcus Rashford have been nominated for the Premier League and Player of the Month, Manager of the Month, whatever you want to call it. That's for February, so we'll definitely reflect on that. Alex Cook has given an update on Frankie de Jong's future as that story heats up again, and we've got a little update on Mason Greenwood potentially going out on loan as well, so we'll discuss that near the end of the show. So before I dive into these topics, guys, that are on the table, make sure you subscribe, like, and share the channel. If you like our content after this show, make sure you go check out the review of the game as well between me and Sam from last night, where we really dive into it and give our constructive criticism as well. So if you're new on Instagram, new on whatever other social media platform you want to talk about, head over to YouTube. We had Jay Morty from Stretford Paddock on the channel this week as well on Tuesday. Did a fun interview with him. So if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. And we had an interview with Jonathan Schrager and ITK, and a big United fan, a big journalist in that kind of world. A lot of people know him on Twitter. And we did an interview with him. So loads of content on the channel. We're gonna have loads of content this week. And that's what it is. It is what it is, yeah. So we're gonna start off with Garnacho. Manchester United have decided to accelerate contract talks for Alejandro Garnacho. The only thing missing is an agreement on image rights, and United want it to be finalised before the summer. That's what Fabrizio Romano was putting on, what he basically put after the game. Now, that is a little bit of regurgitation because he's already kind of put this out to a certain extent, but because obviously Garnacho had a fabulous performance last night, he's kind of put that back out there saying, well, maybe it is very close. Negotiations are very positive. Etc. But look, United are obviously keen to get this contract sorted, and when you look at his performance last night, you can really see why. More recently, it's kind of been a substitution, little cameos here and there. Ten Hag, given the confidence of starting last night from minute one, and he rewarded him with a crucial goal towards the end. His output for an 18-year-old, by the way, is insane. Not to mention the significance of the goals as well. I was looking back before at where his assists and where his goals have come from. So I'm just going to list them off here now, and this will show the significance. So the last minute winner against Fulham before we went off for the World Cup. The last minute winner against West Ham last night. 85th minute goal against Leeds to kill the game off at Ellen Road. The goal away at Sociedad where we needed to score 2, I think it was, to top the group or draw with him or something along the lines of that. Garnacho got a really important goal in that, but we didn't go on to, score any more. So that could have been crucial. And then the assist in the derby for Marcus Rashford as well, which, a lot of people seem to have forgotten about, but that's obviously a massive, massive moment in the season. And he's having such a big young say for such a young age. His potential is scary as fuck. So no doubt Manchester United will want to tie him down for the next 5 to 6 years. I'm sure a lot of the fans feel the exact same way. It's just nice to see a top talent that we've actually scouted, to be honest, because especially on our channel and loads of other fans as well, I've seen throughout social media and stuff, have criticised United heavily for the scouting system and how they go about buying players. It's usually, Ed Woodward's kind of regime was all about Disneyland signings and the big names, and even if it was older players like your Alexis Sanchez, Radamel Falcao, like, because it's got the name, it'll sell shirts. It's, look, it's still a very good player because of the name. We don't tend to go for kind of astute signings, ones like Malacia or ones like Garnacho, and we started doing that more of late. So maybe that is, credit that they're doing something right behind closed doors. Who knows? Big up everyone on the Instagram, by the way. I can see you all joining. Thank you very much. Get your questions in as we're going through the topics. Garnacho, Player of the Month, Manager of the Month, and other topics. Get your questions in if you want. If you have a discussion, more than welcome to. I'm just gonna have a look at the YouTube chat now as well. Make sure you smash a like. Dave saying double award deserved, in my opinion. Absolutely. I'm going to touch on that in a second. So yeah, like I said, I don't like praising the scouting system because they don't get a lot of things right, but Garnacho seems like an absolute gem, doesn't he? So full credit to Manchester United for picking up a youngster like him, because he seems like, one for the next 5-10 years, potentially, if you do the right things with him. And if he's nurtured the right way, which he will be under Eric Ten Hag, I fully believe that. If you look at the stats this season, all club competitions compared to, some of the top level players, So Jack Grealish has played 2,112 minutes. He's got 3 goals. Kevin De Bruyne has played 2,507 minutes, got 5 goals. Garnacho's played 1,012 minutes and he's got 4 goals. And then you've got Fred with 1,625 minutes. He's got 6 goals. Who, by the way, Fred's got more goals since November than Chelsea has, or the same, I think it is. So it shows you how bad Chelsea are doing at the minute. Absolutely ridiculous. So, like I said, a very, very impressive conversion rate in terms of when you do a comparison to some of these big players who have cost, 50 to 100 million pounds. I actually believe, I keep banging that, apologies if you could hear that feedback then, but I actually believe he's got the potential to become that kind of caliber. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got that potential to watch him. There's not many wingers who play like the old style of wingers that we like, your Giggs. Who the fuck is Giggs? Your Ryan Giggses, your Beckhams, Ronaldos, these kind of guys who just run at players, put a cross into the box, have a shot. Every time he got it last night, he looked dangerous. His first thought was go forward. Sometimes you can play the safe pass back. I remember saying to Sam on the review last night that sometimes when I played football, I definitely wasn't the quickest, so this is probably why I did it, but I was quite skillful. But I'd go for a safe pass a lot of the time. I'd go back, I'd try and make a running behind, or do you know what I mean? He gets it, he just runs at him. He's not asked, he's not scared of anyone. And that's what I absolutely love about him. And by the end of the season, I think he could potentially have double figures in assists and goals, which would be amazing and very rare for a young kid. Cristiano Ronaldo, when he joined us in 2003, 18 years old in his first breakout season for United, he had 6 goals and 8 assists in 40 appearances, all competitions. Alejandro Garnacho, 18 years old, first breakout season for United. He's got 5 goals and 6 assists in 30 games in all competitions. So 10 games less. He could literally replicate what Cristiano Ronaldo has done in his first season in arguably a worse squad, to be honest. So well done to Garnacho for sitting these idiots down who think it's cool to get clicks for being controversial, criticising a young kid. Keep doing your thing and focus on your football. And hopefully you'll be part of a winning team for the next 5 to 10 years. Fingers crossed anyway. So yeah, I'm buzzing with Garnacho at the minute. I'm not sure about his new hairstyle. Every time I see him, I'm thinking that, Malfoy saying that Potter, you're right, Potter. Or it looks a little bit like a Tigerian as well. Like, it's a bit mad, his hairstyle. He's got all stand on you. So not sure about that, but look, it's irrelevant to me. He can have a fucking mohawk, a green mohawk. As long as he's bagging goals and getting assists, that's all I'm really asked about, to be completely honest with you. And let's hope he is here for the next, God knows, whatever, 5, 10 years. I'm pretty sure we'll time down shortly. I was speaking to a few people about this. It's very, very close. It's just image rights. It's literally just little finer details. They'll probably announce it shortly, and it'll probably be about a 50K a week contract, something along the lines of that. So, yeah, long may it continue, and big up Alejandro Garnacho. I know we've already got a chant for him. We've got Viva Garnacho, haven't we? But I feel like we need to, he needs to get his own one, like a proper one. But, yeah, I don't mind belting it out around Old Trafford. Moving on to Eric Ten Hag and Marcus Rashford. They've both been voted for Player Manager of the Month. And De Gea has been voted as well for Save of the Month against Leicester, where he kind of, I think it was Iheanacho's header where he kind of scooped it out of the net. Fantastic save. But yeah, Rashford's been nominated for February's Premier League Player of the Month award. He's alongside Iheanacho, Bert Leno, Emerson Royale, Manor Solomon for Fulham, and Ollie Watkins for this prize. Rashford's got 5 goals in 4 games, a brace against Leicester, 2 big goals against Leeds, and a goal against Palace, was it? Yeah, 3 wins and no defeats. Just give it him now. Just give it him now. Scoring in a League Cup final as well, just showing he's got the absolute bollocks to do it in any situation against top teams. He don't give a fuck. He's killing it at the minute. He's the best player in Europe. He's doing it at a very high level on a very consistent basis. And look, I can see the arguments for other players. I think Leno's been fantastic for Fulham. I think they've only been beaten once in February, and he's obviously helping them stay. I think they're currently 6th in the Premier League as well, so they're having a fantastic season. Ollie Watkins has hit a little bit of a purple patch in the past kind of month or so. I think he's got 4 goals for Villa, but I think 3 of the goals have came against City, Arsenal, and Leicester, and that's where they got absolutely battered, like 4-1, 4-2. So when you think about when you take into consider the significance of the contribution, you have to weigh out like Rashford's, away at Leeds, the header that got us 1-0 up in like the 80th minute, massive goal. To get the first goal against Leeds at Old Trafford to get us back into the tie, Massive goal. The 2 goals against Leicester that took us away to get us the 3 points, a big goal as well. Now, I can appreciate Watkins has scored against big teams, but they got battered 4-1. So the goals meant nothing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, look, Marcus Rashford deserves that award. And it's not bias, it's not red tinted glasses, it's not, and you're only saying that because you're a United fan. I've just read the stats out there for you. If you want to go look at me yourself, you're more than welcome to. But Marcus Rashford 100% deserves that for me. No doubt in my mind. Eric Ten Hag as well. He's alongside Antonio Conte and Marco Silva for February's Manager of the Month. Eric Ten Hag's win percentage, by the way, at the minute is 73.2% this season, which is the highest in Manchester United's entire history. We've gone unbeaten this month in all competitions. I know only league fixtures count towards this particular prize, but we've still won 3 and drew 1 of the possible 4 Premier League matches we've played. We beat Crystal Palace, we beat Leicester City, we beat Leeds away and drew against them at Old Trafford, which means United picked up 10 points from a possible 12 to sit third in the table after 24 matches. We've also lifted the Carabao Cup on Sunday, which obviously many of you will know, 2-0 against Newcastle, ensuring a successful muff. It's not a successful muff. God. A successful month for the manager. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, he's obviously been nominated for this award. I think it'd be his second. I think he got one in September, Manager of the Month. He should have been voted one for December or January, I think it might have been. And then he's been voted this time as well for February. And again, I know a lot of people will call this, bias or whatever, but to be honest, I couldn't care less. I think they're both fully deserved. They've both been ridiculously consistent in their performances, both as players and managers. And they are 2 giant pillars to Manchester United's success so far this season. In regards to managers as well, just as a little level playing field and a comparison to what they've done. Purely on points, Eric Ten Hag's got the most in February out of the 3 managers who have been voted, with a more congested fixture list as well, and the final to play towards the end of the month. So it's a no-brainer for me. Eric Ten Hag deserves this again. And I do think both of them will get it, because I'm looking at the competition around and I'm looking at others. I just think they're clear at the minute. I think both of them have been unbelievable. Ten Hag more important. So I know Rashford's been in the form of his life, but everything Ten Hag's done in game when we've needed it. You look at the final, any Premier League game we played, any cup game we played. Last night, dead flat. I was saying at half-time last night, it was as flat as Susan Boyle's ass. It was just so dead. It was so quiet. Like, we weren't doing anything. West Ham had the far better chances. Like, they could have been 2-0 up. Ten Hag goes in, he addresses certain issues, he has a look, and that's what he does. That's what makes him one of the best managers in the world at the minute, if not the best manager in the world. Forget Premier League manager of the month. He's the fucking Europe's manager of the month. 100%. His in-game management is second to none. I've mentioned this before on the channel. Steve McLaren did an interview. I think it was with Football Daily or something like that. And he wasn't ashamed to say when he had him, I think it was at Utrecht or FC20, one of the teams, he was saying, I've never seen in-game management like it. If we were struggling in a game and we was down 1-0, we was down 2-0, we would always look at Eric, obviously Ten Hag, and we would say, what now? What do we do now? He'd affect something, he'd goal man marking, he'd bring a certain player on, he'd change the structure about a little bit, and they'd go get a result. How many times have we seen this season? If you go back, I might even do a video on it. If you go back and look at the games that we've played, he has affected so many of them just by little tweaks, little tactical changes. The Arsenal game, big games as well, Arsenal game, the City game, the Barcelona game, putting Vegas as a 10, little nuances like this is what makes him a fabulous coach. So I think he fully deserves this award, and hopefully they both get it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me just get a quick swig of a drink. Fucking throat's killing. Oh, I feel like absolute shit. But we move. So moving on to a quick transfer story. It's the name that's always bellowed about on this channel, Mr. Frankie de Jong. It's got a lot of sentimental value to me, as many people would know who watch this regular. So Alex Crook has been talking on Talk Sport, or Talk Shite, should I say. Ten Hag has made Frankie de Jong one of Manchester United's top summer targets. Ten Hag hopes that Old Trafford feel-good factor as United beat Barcelona will help persuade him to join. The prospect of him partnering Casemiro in United's midfield is said to be an attractive proposition for Frankie de Jong, particularly with United on course for Champions League qualification. There's a few things I wanted to say on this. So firstly, I want to say don't take everything Alex Crook says as absolute gospel, because he also said during August that the Frankie de Jong deal was pretty much done and it'd be done by next week. That's what he was hearing. So take it with a pinch of salt. However, when I imagine a midfield of Casemiro, Frenkie de Jong, and Bruno Fernandes, I just think, whew, whew. I think about the balance, experience, and the talent within that midfield. Unbelievable. The clips we saw of him at Old Trafford, basically with a semi on one, looking around Old Trafford like, oh wow, wow. You remember seeing the clips online? Um, and that gives me a little inkling. He's smiling, he looks happy there. It's that gives me a little bit of confidence he'd like to play for us just from looking at that clip. And as I mentioned before, I spoke to John. Well, me and Sam spoken to Jonathan Schrager last week, and he seems to think we could be revisiting this. This is something that Ten Hag wants to finish. He wants to get the deal over the line. And Ten Hag must have had an inkling because he was going for the player for 12 weeks. So he must have spoken to him privately for the something to be in it. It must have been mutual admiration from both sides saying, look, De Jong was probably saying, look, like they owe me money. They owe me about 14 million pounds. It's not an easy thing to get out. I do like playing here. I do love Barcelona. One of my girlfriend's a massive fan, living here and stuff. And it's been a dream for me. But there was that constant ongoing thing where he owed De Jong wages. Like De Jong reduced his wages whilst he was going through, COVID or whatever it was with the club. No, De Jong didn't have COVID, but during the COVID times and stuff, it was they had to reduce wages, and he was open to doing that. So they owe him wages effectively if he was to get back into the Champions League, which they did. And obviously, he wanted them wages. He's not just going to walk out the club when a club owes him 17 million pounds. So he was kind of handcuffed there, even though he wanted to stay there. It was a very, very surreal situation. But look, it all depends on what happens with Barcelona at the minute. That will decide how difficult this deal will be. Also, depending on us, if we win a couple of trophies, you get Champions League football. We are going to be hard to ignore. But as I said, Barcelona's a dream for De Jong. He's happy there. His girlfriend's living there. So it might be round 2 for another saga in the summer, where we're talking about him for another 10 weeks. That's probably likely because this is a player Eric Ten Hag wants. And if we know anything about Eric Ten Hag, we know how fucking stubborn he can be, 100%. So he really wants his player. It's weird because we was going to get him, which probably meant we wouldn't have got Casemiro. And I think if you would have asked most United fans now who they would have preferred, they would have said Casemiro all day long. Like, he's had way more of a bigger impact. But now we've got Casemiro there, and we've got Bruno Fernandes in that midfield as well. If you think of midfield, like I said, Casemiro, Bruno, and De Jong together, the balance, experience, talent, it'd be one of the best midfields in Europe, 100%. And I love Christian Eriksen. He's a fantastic player. He's contributed, a lot. He's still third in assists, I think, in the league, and he's been injured for the past few weeks. So he obviously makes a massive contribution, but Frenkie de Jong would just take that level up. He'd take it to the next level. He's much quicker than Eriksen. He's much more physical in terms of like his stamina. He's a bit stronger. He's a top player. And I hear a lot of people talking about Jude Bellingham and these kind of guys, and I think fantastic, unbelievable players. But realistically, if you look at the FFP situation and how that's going to go down, and we can only spend a certain amount, if we get Champions League and if we sell certain players as well, it's going to be difficult to go spend 150 million on Bellingham and get other targets on top of that. Whereas Frenkie de Jong was quoted, what was it, 70 million, 75 million, and another year's gone by on his contract now, so you're probably looking at 65 million for Frenkie de Jong, similar price to Casemiro, and then you still leave yourself open and space to go get other players as well. So it's a no-brainer for me. I would 100% go get de Jong. Dave saying Barca also need to knock around 200 million off their annual expenditure, which does include wages. Thought Busquets is leaving this summer, and he is their highest earner with Frenkie de Jong. So yeah, that Busquets thing might have an effect on it. Busquets might leave, which frees it up a little bit for de Jong. Stevie Boy saying hello from Belfast. Hello, Stevie Boy. Hope you're doing well. Big up to yourself. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube yet, please do. I'm live on there currently at the minute, both on Instagram and YouTube. So, but yeah, going back to Dave's comment, I agree with that. Busquets is going to have a huge thing on this. I heard he was going to the MLS or something along the lines of that. So that'd be interesting to see if he goes and they look at Frenkie as the all-time replacement, the guy who's going to be there for the next 5 years, because he's still only 25 years old. Frenkie de Jong. He's still got a lot of years left in him. Unbelievable talent. Rarely gets injured. So, but I think Barcelona are going to want to keep hold of him, and they're going to have a look at what players they can remove and basically just do what they did all summer and just fuck about with financials and bring in certain things. I'm pretty sure they sold the TV rights to a company and the studio that they own. And he was like doing weddings on the pitch to bring in more revenue. They was doing five-a-side kickabouts. There was a lemonade stand outside the camp. There wasn't that. I was joking, but they was just basically doing anything they could to raise money. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had this similar approach in the summer just to get any kind of form of money in, so they can keep players like De Jong there, especially to win a league as well. That's another thing why I'm saying it's important what happens. It's important to know what happens with Barcelona, because if they win the league, and I think they play Real Madrid in about half an hour in the Copa del Rey, I think it is, in the second leg. So if they win a cup and they win a title, that's obviously going to convince Frenkie de Jong to stay there more. But I do like the fact that we beat him in the Europa League and advance through, because that might be a little feather in our cap as well, just to say, like, look, we're going somewhere. We've got the team. We've already beat your team, Barcelona. Eric Ten Hag's a fantastic manager. We've already won a trophy. You know, the future is there. There's something there to grab at. Whereas, obviously, if we was to sign him, I don't know, on the days when Ragnick was there, it was an absolute no. You're never going to get it. So we've got a really good chance of getting him. It just depends what happens with Barcelona. I'll definitely be watching them tonight to see how they get on anyway, because it's interesting. Get ready for round two in the summer. Get ready for round two. I'm just going to put a poll out on the YouTube for you guys to answer. And obviously, more than welcome to. I'll answer your question in a second, Bradley. Just give me 2 seconds. Let me put this poll out. So I'm going to say, would you rather? Oh, can't spell rather. Would you father? That's what I just put. Would you father? I am your father. Awesome. Iceberg lettuce. Would you rather sign? I want to see what people think. I think most people go for Bellingham, to be honest, but let's have a look. Would you rather sign Frenkie de Jong or Bellingham? I imagine most people are going to go for Bellingham, but yeah. Bradley's saying opinion on Mbappe. Lots of rumours about him coming. I think people are just putting two and two together. They're looking at the Qatar bid. If they take over United, they're looking at a lot of money and they're thinking, yeah, they're going to sign him. But as I just mentioned then, financial fair play will have a huge say in that. And if you look at the wages that Kylian Mbappe is on at PSG, it's going to be hard to dodge that FFP. He's got a package of about 250 million a year salary. He's got a position on the board, I think. Like, his contract's outrageous. So I can't see him coming to the Premier League and United, working a loophole around that. But you never know. Never say never, but I don't think he'll sign for United. I don't. If I was to put money on it, I really don't think he will. They will love him as a player. Is he fantastic? Yeah. Is he arrogant? Yeah. Does he have ego issues at times? Yeah. But so did Eric Cantona, and Cantona is one of our most important players in history who we signed. So you sign someone like Kylian Mbappe, he takes you to that next level. We want to win Premier Leagues, we want to win Champions Leagues. We won a trophy at the minute. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but you bring someone into the fold like that, into your attack, Mbappe up top. You've got Casemiro in the midfield. You've got Lissandro at the back with Varane. Your core binding throughout the full team's insane. And then obviously other players around him work into that, like your Brunos and your Luke Shaws and stuff, and David Hayes and that, not to mention. So I think it'd be a fantastic sign, and I just don't know how they would work it. I honestly don't around the FFP. It's mad. Shah Sam, hello Shah Sam. Hope you're doing okay. Regulars on the channel. Big up to see yourself. Constantly supporting. Really appreciate that. He or she, sorry, is saying if we do get De Jong at the minimum, I expect a Champions League semis and EPL title. Wow, going bold there from Shah Sam. I like it. I like it. If he came to the Premier League, who would shine more, Mbappe or Haaland? To be honest, I was going to say it's easy for Haaland to sign because he's in a City team, but City aren't exactly providing him with chances. I've watched City a lot this season, and he's made so many runs that they just do not see. They just don't play him in behind. But yeah, he's still got, what is it, 20? Has he got 20 odd goals already in the Prem and like 30 in all competitions? It's mad. He's a beast. He's just an absolute goal. I think Haaland's a better goal scorer, but I think Mbappe's a better player, if that makes sense. People might disagree. I don't know, but that's just my personal opinion. I think it'd bring Mbappe is a United player as well. If you look at how we're playing under Eric Ten Hag at the minute, we aren't playing the way he played football at Ajax. We're not playing 70% possession, that kind of tiki-taka, chance creation, a lot of chance creation. We're not playing like that. We're very flexible in our tactical approach. We can go in games and play like that. Like you see, when we played Tottenham at Old Trafford, we beat them 2-0. We played like that. We dominated possession. Tottenham didn't have a sniff of the ball. We won 2-0. It was comfortable for us. But we've also had, a game like the final in the Carabao Cup against Newcastle, where they had most of possession. We was defensive resilient, hit him on the counter, took our 2 moments and won. Like Ten Hag is tactically flexible. So, we played on the counter attack quite a lot, which would definitely play into Mbappe's hands. It already plays into Rashford's hands. Look how many goals Rashford's getting. Look at the goals against Liverpool, the goals against Arsenal, and other goals against bigger clubs, not bigger clubs, big clubs I'm talking about. Why is my nose so fucking itchy, man? Ugh, like a crackhead. Every time I'm on stream, my nose is just like, I'm going to need an antihistamine or something. But yeah, I think just to quickly end on that question, I think Mbappe would suit us. I really do. But it's almost impossible to get around that fair play thing, to be honest. But yeah, I like the ambition from people. I get people want to sign him. We're going to want the biggest players in the world. And if you want to win the biggest things in the world, you have to sign them. So yeah, going from one positive to a slight negative. I did say I'd touch on this at the start of the show. So news broke this morning that loan inquiries have been made for Mason Greenwood from clubs with who currently their transfer windows still open. Apparently United have received loan inquiries for Mason Greenwood from Turkish clubs as well. That's from Mike McGrath. The transfer window is still open in certain countries and regions like Asia, Africa, and some Scandinavian countries as well. So there's potential interest there. Look, I don't agree with him playing football again. That's my personal opinion. But if it means him not playing for Manchester United, then I'll take it. Absolutely. I appreciate it's a sensitive subject, but look, ultimately, the girl who had accused him for this, and we've all heard the videos and stuff, you can all make your own mind up, but the girl who had accused him of this is now having a baby with him. So make of that what you will. Think why the charges got dropped, etc. I think he'll probably end up going on loan somewhere. I'd still be very surprised if he plays for Manchester United again. But like I said, if it means him not walking out at Old Trafford, I'm all for it. I just think we've got a lot of positivity going on at the club at the minute. The last thing we need is to bring drama into the dressing room and upset it as well, especially during the season. So for me personally, I don't want to see him back at the club. If he's going to go out on loan to another club, then it is what it is. But yeah, I just don't want to bring. You think about all the drama we've had this season. It's been very different drama, so I'm not putting the players into the same bracket. But you think about the Ronaldo situation, you think about the Glazers that are supposedly going, all the drama at the start of the season with players being sold and stuff, and the shit that Ten Hag has to deal with. Like, why bring that back in now? Why? You just wouldn't want. I'm guaranteed Ten Hag doesn't want to, regardless of how talented the player is. And let's not forget, he's on about 2 years off or whatever it's been. So it's not like he's going to waltz back into the team anyway. Just send him out on loan, let his contract run down, and then he'll probably go start a life in another country or whatever. But yeah, I would guess as well that United players, there's a lot of United players who don't want him in the dressing room. But look, I haven't got inside knowledge. Believe it or not, this is just an inkling. For people currently in the chat, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, Instagram as well, you guys, regulars, and I've seen you on Instagram a lot. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube yet, please do. The link tree is in our bio. Just click over there, hit that subscribe button. I'm currently live on YouTube at the minute. So yeah, just a brief recap of what I've been talking about. We've discussed Alejandro Garnacho at the start of the season, what's in store for him, his future, his contract agreement getting closer and closer. Very interesting. Eric Ten Hag and Marcus Rashford have been nominated for Premier League Player and Manager, of the month for February. Alex Crook giving an interview with Frankie de Jong. We've spoken about him. Is that still an option for the summer? Let me know what you think. And then obviously the update I've just given on Mason Greenwood as well. Just to let you know, tomorrow there's going to be, usually there's a breaking news show. So obviously if anything breaks regarding the ownership situation, then we'll go live, or if there's any transfer talk or if a contract break, anything like that. If it's breaking news, then we'll obviously go live. I'm gonna try to do a bit of Friday Night FIFA because a few of the people on the TikTok and Instagram and stuff have been asking, do you play FIFA? So we're gonna do a live stream of that. We're gonna do some foot champs for a couple of hours. Have a few whiskeys. So that'll be a live stream tomorrow, and then Saturday we've got the Liverpool preview at 3:00. Don't miss that because we're gonna have the lads on there. And then we're gonna have a watch along on Sunday for the Liverpool game. Obviously, it's at Anfield, so that's going to be a very fiery, bubbly game. And the watch alongs are always fun, as you probably saw last night. With Adam did a solo one, so big up to Adam again. I plugged it at the start, but we've done an interview with Jay Motti from Stretford Paddock. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long. It's funny as fuck. We talk everything, absolutely everything, from the transfer window to Eric Ten Hag to our first trophy. to how he, got into where he was at in a minute. Just, 3 local lads. Great, great show. I can't advise you anymore to go watch that if you missed it. So, yeah, look, stay tuned. We're always going to be going live every single day. That's what we do here at Real Reds Talk. And like I said, if anything breaks, we will definitely go live. So take care of yourselves. Have a lovely, what day are we on? Wednesday? No, we're not even on Wednesday. Have a lovely Thursday. We're nearly at the weekend. We're nearly there. Take care of yourselves. Big up everyone on Instagram. Big up everyone on YouTube. And I'll see you tomorrow for the FIFA stream. Peace. Ba, ba, ba.